Uh-oh. You get to see the Toy Story 3 little case here in the video. What does that mean? Does that mean we're going to be talking about a game of Toy Story 3? That's right, because we've already talked about Toy Story 3, the movie, and the reason why I brought the movie back out is so that you have something to look at other than this little piece of paper with the word Toy Story and then the number 3 written down, because I don't have a physical copy of the PS3 version of Toy Story 3. I have the digital version of Toy Story 3, which is where I played this. Toy Story 3 is a fantastic game, bursting, full to the brim with potential. So much potential, in fact, that it squanders quite a bit of it. It does not live up to the potential that the game is absolutely bursting at the seams with. What you have in the game is very fun. What you get to play in the game is very fun. But you end up finishing it a lot faster than you thought you would. And you're sitting there wishing you had more to do. You're sitting there wishing there were more levels to play. You're sitting there wishing there were a little bit more sandboxy kind of things, levels that you could just openly explore, kind of like the Toy Story 2 game for the PS1. Because Toy Story 3 for the PS3 just does not live up to the juggernaut that is Toy Story 2 for the PS1. Although there are quite a few things that Toy Story 3 for the PS3 does that are better than Toy Story 2 for the PS1. You see, there are a lot of things in here that make you wish that there were more things like it throughout the game. Well, what do I mean? Well, there are 8 story levels, only 8 story levels. There are no cutscenes taken from the movie like there were in the PS1 game, which I actually thought were great rewards. When you beat a level, or when you're about to enter a level, you would get a little scene from the movie. They just showed you a clip of the area that they're getting ideas from to show you a new location, like when you're showing a construction map. There's just a single scene with a construction site in the background. They decided to make a level based off of that. That was incredibly creative and awesome. In this, there are no cutscenes ripped from the movie. None at all. There's maybe a cutscene in the opening, and then when you're doing the first level, then once you finish the final level, you get one more cutscene. That's it. That's all you get. And that's very disappointing to me. It is. Although I do like that most of the voice actors who voiced these characters return to voice them. Mainly Rex, Ham, and Slinky. I think Jesse comes back as well. I don't think this is Tom Hanks voicing Woody. Woody sounds a little bit different. You think it's somebody else. Tim Allen, I don't know if he came back for this game, but a lot of his clips, his voice clips, sound like they're him, sound like they're Tim Allen. It feels like they ripped that from the movie, which is exactly what they did for Toy Story 2 PS1 Buzz. All of Buzz's lines in the game when you're running around, he says, "Don't want to be in the way when my laser goes off." He just says random lines like that, and they're just ripped directly from Toy Story 1 and 2, and I love that. I do. I absolutely loved that. It's just, there's so much to love about Toy Story 2 that I didn't get that vibe from Toy Story 3, but I saw that the potential was there when I was playing it. The potential to be the most memorable thing that somebody would want to continuously keep coming back to it, to keep playing it, because it just feels so incredibly fun to play. Unfortunately, Toy Story 3's story levels do not have this for me. Some of these levels are very linear. They're like going down a path. You're just going down a linear path. The graphics are incredible. The graphics are freaking amazing. There are a lot of linear pathway levels that are just very fun platforming, fun combat, especially the Buzz Lightyear ones. Buzz is definitely the most combat specialist of it. There's only one level where he gets to use his laser, though. That's very unfortunate. I wish he had access to that laser as a part of his basic character concept. In one of the bonus levels, not a bonus level, it's just another mode, another game mode called the Toy Box mode, the Woody's Roundup mode. It's basically GTA Lite. You get to play as Woody, Buzz, or Jesse. And in the Toy Box mode, everybody has the exact same movesets. Everybody can just use a tackle attack. Everybody can double jump. And their animations may be different depending upon what they do, but they can all equip the same items. They can all do the exact same things. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad to see that. I wish each character had something unique. And I did play the Toy Box mode to almost completion, except for a lot of the pictographs and camera side missions, all that stuff. I didn't really care to do all that stuff, because most of this is just picking up an NPC, throwing them into a clothing outlet, and changing their outfits to match the outfits that you have to do for a pictograph mission, and then you'll complete the mission. I don't want to do outfit crap like that. I didn't choose to do that. I did all the other missions, like all the fetch quest missions and all the new areas to explore missions. A lot of that stuff is very fun. It is very fun to do. You can do it as Woody, Buzz, or Jesse. And there is a fourth playable character that you can unlock in this Toy Box mode, only to be used in this Toy Box mode, and that is the evil Emperor Zurg. He is playable in the Toy Box mode, and only the Toy Box mode. And you can pick him, play as him, and he has his own moveset. He's kind of a little bit restrictive, but he's still pretty fun to use. But unfortunately, there's no level that you could explore exclusive to Zurg. You can't do something exclusively just by Zurg alone. You could explore the Toy Box level, the area, the map, the hub world, if you will, but you can't really go and do anything else. You could do some side missions that are based specifically for Zurg and his moveset by his little Zurg bots in this small little area, but it's a little bit of a missed potential. I like that Zurg is playable, but I wish there was more to do with him. I wish there was like a level that you could do just with Zurg that's basically built around Zurg and his moveset. Instead of just exploring the Toy Box with Zurg, have him explore another space level as Zurg and do some fun stuff with that. That would be pretty fun to do. That would be very exciting. But unfortunately, there is none of that. And also, unfortunately, the boss fights are very poor. There's two that are pretty fun, but you never get to fight Lotso. That's very sad, you know. I kind of wish there was a boss fight with Lotso and his minion toys. That would have been pretty fun. I kind of wish that Toy Story 3's level design was like the PS1 game. I really wish it was like Toy Story 2, where you get to explore an open map area of each area with characters scattered throughout the level that you go find, and they'll give you missions to do or tasks to complete, and you'll get like some equivalent to the Pizza Planet token. I don't know what you would have for a collectible in Toy Story 3, but do something to get a collectible like that, have some more. And it would have been a pretty fun time that way, but unfortunately the levels, the maps, the areas that you could explore, even the Woody's Roundup level, which feels the biggest, it feels small. You, the toy, are supposed to be small, not the actual map that you're exploring. The map that you're exploring is supposed to be huge. It's supposed to be massive. The first level that you get to do in this is Andy's house. That's the first level that you can explore, and I swear Andy's bedroom was massive when I played this on the PS1 with Buzz. Andy's bedroom was absolutely massive. On the PS3, when you're exploring Andy's bedroom, it feels very small. It's very small. You can cross from one end to the bedroom to the other in a very short amount of time. Probably half the time that would take Buzz in Toy Story 2 for PS1. That was very disappointing to me. It really was disappointing. But what I did like, though, And what I griped about how every character that you could play as in the Toy Box mode played exactly the same, they do not play exactly the same in the story modes. Unfortunately, there just aren't enough story levels for you to actually really get a grasp or a feel for this mechanic that they actually did really good at. They did really good at this mechanic, where each character has their own gimmick. They have their own abilities that are unique just to them. Buzz sadly doesn't have his laser, he can't do his spin attack, and most of his abilities from Toy Story 2 for PS1 are not here. But he can do some things that neither Woody or Jesse can do. And what that is he's the strongest of the three of them. So if you pick up Woody or Jesse with Buzz, you can throw them a very long distance. You can throw them up to higher cabinets, higher shelves that Woody, Buzz, and Jesse can't normally reach by themselves. So Buzz can throw them up there. And then you could press the L1 button to swap to that character at any time. And you can do the platforming up there to push something down so that the other two characters can get up there, or do something up there that only that character could do. For example, Woody has his pull string, and he can use that as like a grapple to cross long gaps or reach up to higher platforms. That's a very good idea, just to give that to Woody. Jessie, she's a little bit more agile than Woody is, and she can jump onto small, tight little tightrope things and the little tiny little pinpoint knobs. She can jump onto those and cross gaps and climb things that Woody would not otherwise be able to do. And you can use teamwork between the three of them to solve platforming puzzles, which I absolutely adored. I thought that was one of the best parts of the game, the teamwork cooperation between these three characters. Unfortunately, you only really get, I guess, just 2 levels where you can use all 3 of them in full cooperation. In one of them, the prison break from the butterfly or caterpillar room, whatever, you get to play as Woody and Jesse as they try to rescue Slinky, Ham, and Rex from being in confinement. You get to free them so that they can escape. And you can't use Buzz because he's under control of Lotso and all that stuff. Unfortunately, none of that gets playable. None of that gets even shown. They just passively explain that happened in voiceover, and we don't get to see it. It's unfortunate. And I know we have the movie. You can watch the movie, but the point of having the tie-in game is to actually show it there too, so you can actually play the story and not just see tiny little snippets. It's very unfortunate. So we can't use Buzz and then only Woody and Jesse. It's a very fun level, but we don't get the full expanse of all 3 of these characters being used. But I still like the level, I do. And then there's one where the first time you go into the butterfly room, you get Lotso introducing everybody and says, why don't you go around and play some of the games that we got going on, or whatever. And so he has 3 of his minions out. You can go talk to them. They have little challenges, little mini games that you can play. They're pretty fun mini games, but there's nothing really platforming, puzzle-wise, that you could do here. You can explore the butterfly room if you want. There's a couple cards scattered throughout every level in the game that you could go around and find for collectors' purposes. They're not really like Pizza Planet tokens are. There's nothing hidden behind little mini games or little missions that you get to do. It's just, oh, this card is located on this shelf. Go jump to that shelf. There it is. Pick it up. There you go. And at least I'm glad that something's there for you to do. I am glad at least that there's something there. I just wish that there was more there. I wish these rooms were bigger. These areas were huge. Because they're supposed to feel huge to these characters. They're supposed to feel absolutely massive. You are supposed to feel tall, small, tiny as a toy. But unfortunately, it just doesn't really give you that. It doesn't really give you that vibe, that feel of. But it's better than nothing, I will admit. I will admit that it is better than nothing. I'm glad that this game exists. I'm really glad that it does, because I did have fun playing it. I just wish that there were more to play. There was more to play. My favorite story level is not part of the movie, though. That story level is in Toy Story 2, the very opening, you get to see Buzz with all of his weird superpowers and all that stuff as a space ranger with his lasers, wings, and flying, the jetpack, and all that stuff. And we learned that Rex was actually just playing a video game. Well, in the first level of Andy's house, we get to see Rex digging out the old video game console. He hooked it up, and he's playing the Buzz Lightyear video game. And the next level, the second level in the story mode, is that Buzz Lightyear game. That whole segment, that whole opening segment from Toy Story 2 gets lovingly recrafted. Every single moment, every single scene from that opening has been brought into that level. I loved it. It was the best level. Buzz has his laser, he has his jetpack, he has a whole complete moveset that I wish he had in every other level of the game. Unfortunately, it's only accessible in this one level, which is very sad. It's very, very sad. His laser is very fun to use, though. You can blast it as a single shot blaster, or you can hold it down for a charge shot, just like in Toy Story 2 for PS1. But in this case, he's not just holding it down for a one single shot blast. He's holding it down, and his laser's just flashing continuously. And you can use that to charge up crystals to have them explode to hit multiple enemies, just like in the movie. It's just a great time. I loved that level to death. And of course, Emperor Zurg is the boss at the end of this level. It's a pretty fun boss fight. It's not like super difficult, it's not super complex. It's kind of like how a boss fight would be in the PS1 game. I just wish there were more bosses. You could have made a lot of levels, a lot of story levels here, and had a lot of mini-bosses that you could have your characters fight, like Buzz, Woody, Jessie. Depending upon their movesets and strengths, you could pick which character would fight which boss. I really wish this felt like a spiritual successor, spiritual sequel to the Toy Story 2 for PS1 game, because that setup, that formula was just perfect. It really was. It was perfect. You could go in there, explore the level, find a mini-boss. Every level has a mini-boss that you could fight. That's fantastic. I loved that. But you only get two here. You get Emperor Zurg and the Buzz Lightyear level, and then the final level, which is something that I do like. I did really, really like this idea that they did. I just wish they explored it more. I just wish they did more with everything that they had here. I just wish they did more. Everything in here is great. It just needs to be more. There needs to be more of it to do. This game is very short. I hate that. I hate that. I want the game to have twice the runtime. 3 times the runtime. 3 times the playtime. The HLTV, if it says, oh, you can beat the story in 4 hours. No. Make it 12 hours. Make it 16 hours. 20 hours. I don't care. Make it lengthy so that you can actually get in there and get an experience going. This is just teasing me with something fantastic that I wish I saw more of. I wish I had more of. Let me talk about that final level. The final level is fantastic. There are 2 levels, really, technically 2 levels. One when Bonnie finds Woody when he has escaped the Sunnyside daycare. She picks him up, she takes him home. And there's a scene in the movie where she sits Woody down at a table with all the teacups and all that crap, and then she starts going into playtime. She's going to use her imaginations, running wild about coffee and floods and all of that stuff. And a whole level gets created where Woody is transported from this normal, mundane-looking bedroom into this fantastically imaginative world where coffee is filling up the bedroom floor, and Woody has to jump up and onto higher and higher furniture to get above ground. Lots of great platforming. It is a fantastic little level that gives you a little bit of an insight into what happens to the toys when a child plays with them. When the child's imagination runs wild, do the toys see what the child's imagination sees for them? Do they experience that that world that that child creates for them. And in the game, they do work with that. They work off of that idea in one of the most creative ways I've ever seen. I loved it. Both this level and the final level are part of the Bonnie's Playtime thing. The final level is played by Buzz, and the first level is played by Woody. The first level with Woody is mainly platforming. The final level with Buzz is mainly a big boss fight. The entire level is a big boss fight where Buzz has to fight Witch Dolly, or the doll character. I don't know if she's on the cover of this. Let me see. No, she is not. Is she on the back cover? Maybe. She is not. That's unfortunate. But the doll, she has purple hair. She's just a doll. And she's the ringleader of the room. And if you watched Toy Story 4, I'm sorry. But if you watched Toy Story 4, Dolly is in charge of the room. Woody's no longer in charge of all the toys. And he kind of a little bit upset about that. But, yeah, that's Dolly. And Bonnie made her into the villain because she gets possessed by the witch and becomes Witch Bonnie. And Witch Bonnie's flying around, Witch Dolly. And Witch Dolly's flying around on a broom, doing all sorts of witchcraft, magic and spell and sorcery. And Woody and Buzz have to deal with that. And it's very fantastic. It's a very fantastic boss fight. It's only 2 boss fights in the entire game, which is very unfortunate. I wish there was more. I really wish there was more. But there isn't more. It's just 8 levels. 4 levels with great mechanics and teamwork between Woody, Buzz, and Jessie. And then there's 4 solo levels. The first solo level is with Woody, where he's running around with Woody's Roundup. It's a Woody's Roundup imagination level with Andy playing with Woody and Buzz and everybody in one final little playtime before Andy grew up. And that's what the Woody's Roundup toy box mode is based off of. And that's a pretty fun opening level. And then you get the Toy Story 2 opening level where you play as Buzz only. And then there's the Bonnie's Imagination level where you play as Woody only. So there are 4 levels where you play solo as one character. 2 levels with Woody, 2 levels with Buzz. Unfortunately, there are no levels with Jessie, which I really feel like there should have been at least 1. I feel like you could have added maybe 6 more story levels to this game. And I feel like you could have made those 6 story levels a little bit more kind of like how they were with the PS2, with the PS1 version of Toy Story 2. I feel like you should have had some more levels out there. Like the hallways connecting the classrooms, the air vents, and you could have made a level about that. You could have made a level about the playground outside Sunnyside. You could have made a level about the playground. Yep, you could have done a level with that. There should have been another level with the junkyard, with the big claw. What else? There could have been a level where Buzz tries to break out of the caterpillar room, and he finds the vending machine where everybody's playing poker, and that's where he gets reprogrammed. There could have been a level with Jessie as she breaks out and tries to reprogram Buzz to get him back to normal. There's a lot of stuff that you could have done in this game that they just skipped. They skipped levels that I thought would be in the game because they're just perfectly designed to be levels. By just watching the movie, you could see cutscenes where there's lots of great platforming that Woody and Buzz do. And I thought, wow, that would make a perfect level for the game. But they're not in the game. They're not. The whole big prison escape, the whole big Sunnyside escape that Woody does near the end of Act 1 of the movie, he's doing all sorts of great little things, and that could have been a fantastic little level, and it's not there. It's just not there, and that's just unfortunate. I'm glad that what is here is here. I wouldn't take away anything that is here. I would just add more. more needed to be added, more levels, more things to do, more teamwork platforming, maybe add some sort of Pizza Planet token equivalent added in here, maybe add some levels not related to the movie, kind of like what you were already doing with the Bonnie's Imagination levels, with the opening to Toy Story 2 level in there. Maybe you could have added some other unique areas, like the Pizza Planet could have been a location that you could have gone to as a little extra map to explore, with things to do, things to find, and all sorts of fun to be had. There's just so much stuff that I would cram into this game just to make the playtime run on for a little bit longer, because beating the story in 4.5 hours and then spending maybe 15 at the most completing the toy box mode, I'm glad the toy box mode is there. It just doesn't feel like... It feels like you get two games. Two halves of a game that you wish both were full games, if that makes sense. I wish the story levels were more fully realized, more levels to do, more things to go, more places to go, more things to see, more people to talk to, more mini games, more collectibles like Pizza Planet tokens, a big open world map for you to explore like how it was in Toy Story 2 for PS1. And then I wished that the Woody's Roundup toy box mode was bigger and more expansive, and just lots more to do there as well. But it feels like they put two halves of two games into a single game and said, hey, here's two halves of one game so that you get one full game, but you're gonna get half the experience of both. That's disappointing, it really is, because I think both of these halves that are here are very fantastic, they're very fun. There just needs to be more of it. They need to be full games, they need to be full experiences, and we didn't get a Toy Story 4 video game tie-in, to my knowledge. We didn't get a many big console release Toy Story 4 release. If there is a Toy Story 4 game, it's probably on mobile phones or some crap like that. I don't give a crap about that. But yeah, this is Toy Story 3. It was disappointing, but also very fun at the same time. I'm disappointed because I finished it way too soon. I wanted more to do. I wanted to have more time with these characters and just more time to experience all of the fun to be had. Because replaying through the same levels just doesn't hit me as well as just having more levels to hit through for the first time. You can go through every level twice to collect all the collectibles, but you can go through 16 levels one time and get a far better experience.